How many of you guys remember Denuvo? They were kind of a big topic a little bit earlier last year and this year. And you still hear their names every once in a while when the new AAA PC game comes out, never in any positive context, which I think is funny. Like, everyone knows what Denuvo is, everyone knows what Denuvo does, and literally no one has a positive opinion of it. Or at least nobody who's actually encountered what is and is not actually Denuvo. And we'll get into that. But if you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably remember this video and this video where we went ahead and just made fun of some people shilling for Denuvo on the Steam forums, because these people do exist apparently. But before we get into episode 3, or maybe it's episode 4, I don't actually remember how many of these we've done. Point is, fan of the channel Dreamari has been sending me screenshots for days, and I might as well make another compilation of these things, because my goodness, I can't believe there's people out there who legitimately are spending time shilling for a company and a product that literally does nothing for them. But the quick TLDR, Denuvo is an anti-piracy software that gets shoved into some AAA games, with the justification being that it's extra security and that it keeps people from pirating it. But there are several problems with Denuvo. First of all, Denuvo has been proven to cause technical issues in many of the games that it's been implemented into, such as stuttering, frame drops, crashes. If Denuvo's services aren't properly working, that means you just can't launch the game at all. And some people have tried to argue that this isn't the fault of Denuvo themselves, but this is actually the fault of the developers for not implementing Denuvo correctly, to which I would simply respond and say if Denuvo wasn't there, the game would be running fine. So yes, it is Denuvo's fault, because the best case scenario with Denuvo is that your experience as a consumer doesn't change. However, the worst case scenario is that your product literally does not work. So explain to me, if the best case scenario for this being implemented, the best case scenario is nothing changes, that's the best case scenario? You're making me put this on my computer, you're shoving it into the product that I paid for. I wasn't paying for the Denuvo, I was paying for the product, but you shoved it into the product, you demand that it's there, and best case scenario is I don't notice it. That is not justification for it being there. Especially when worst case scenario is the product doesn't work at all, and most common case scenario is that it impacts my experience with the product I actually paid for. And then comedy on comedy, you can't actually say that Denuvo has a 100% win rate against pirates, because there's also a list of games with Denuvo that have been cracked anyways. It kind of reminds me of that situation with Nintendo earlier this year, where they were going after people's Switch 2 consoles if they were using a MIG Switch cartridge. A MIG Switch cartridge basically just being like an empty Switch cartridge that people use to load digital games onto, and some people use it for piracy, some people use it for convenience and preservation, some people use it for piracy. And they were going after everyone who was using it. All the while, the pirates were just like, okay, cool, I just won't use a MIG Switch then, I'll pirate my games another way. Like, implementing this giant sweeping attack towards your own consumers with the justification being, we have to do it to stop the pirates, when the pirates are literally not affected by it at all. It's just not a good look. But for some reason, there are still a lot of people out there who are willing to defend any corporation, or I don't actually know if it's about defending corporations as much as it is about just being upset that other people aren't just eating up whatever is given to them. I think that's more likely what's going on. So today we're going to do another episode, thanks to Dreamari. Everyone say thanks, Dreamari. Another episode of people on the Steam forums just shilling for Denuvo for literally no reason. Because again, best case scenario with Denuvo is that it's on your computer, even though you didn't pay for it, but you don't notice it in the moment. Worst case scenario is that it breaks your game, and most common case scenario is that it hinders the performance of your game, with frame drops, with stutters, with crashes, and it's all being done in the name of stopping pirates, even though it doesn't actually stop all the pirates. Let's see some people defend this. Psyoptic Chimkin says, even if Denuvo was removed, this would still have Steam DRM, so it's a moot point. Okay, hang on. First of all, full stop. Steam DRM is not the same as Denuvo DRM, and there have been many games that have had Denuvo, and then Denuvo is removed, and the performance instantly increases across the board for everybody. So no. The problem is not DRM, the problem is Denuvo specifically. There's other DRM systems out there, and not all of them have the same performance impact that Denuvo does. Believe it or not, some of them are actually worse. But to say Denuvo DRM and Steam DRM are the same, that just completely misunderstands the point. The problem is not the existence of DRM. The problem is Denuvo being a potential performance impact that doesn't even properly do its job. So why is it there? If Denuvo is causing such a performance drop that you have a legitimate issue with it, your system has no headroom in the software, plus the game was never the problem in the first place. If you are actually anti-DRM, you wouldn't be on Steam anyway, lol. Have you ever considered the fact that Steam's DRM is just a lot more fair than things like Denuvo or other forms of DRM? I see people make this point sometimes, like, oh, if you're anti-DRM, then why are you on Steam? If you're pro-game ownership, why are you on Steam? It's like, I'm fully aware of the fact that I don't own the games that I have on Steam. I don't really mind that, because Steam as a service is very fair with its pricing. Steam as a service is very open about all these things. The problem is not DRM. The problem is Denuvo's implementation of DRM and how it impacts performance. How it can just brick your game if something's going wrong on Denuvo's side. Like, really think about that. I can buy a game by, I don't know, Capcom. I buy a Capcom game on Steam. But then someone over at Denuvo accidentally trips and falls on the server, and I just can't boot the game now, because I can't pass the Denuvo anti-tamper check. And that's what I mean when I say that Denuvo does nothing but cause potential problems. Not all problems, it doesn't only cause problems, but that's why I said earlier, best case scenario is you don't notice it. If the best case scenario is nothing changes, why is it there? How does it benefit me? Dark Soul 3092 says, you have no proof it is ruining performance in this game. Your PC is probably just terrible. Denuvo at this point is to delay crackers so the developers can get their money they deserve. It's not supposed to make it impossible. I love the goalpost moving here. It's like, oh, we have to use Denuvo to stop the pirates. But then the pirates crack Denuvo anyway, so you're like, yeah, well, it's not supposed to stop them forever. We built this giant wall around our kingdom to keep invaders out, and then the invaders break through the wall because it was poorly constructed, and you're like, what? Guys, it wasn't supposed to keep us safe forever. Like, jeez, chill. Here, put on this suit of armor. It'll stop swords from going into your chest, and then a sword goes straight through the armor into your chest. Like, I didn't mean any sword, ugh. But also, I would like to bring up this comment by Lucas Self in response to the point that, oh, Denuvo is so developers can get their money, guys. Developers can't get their money without Denuvo. Lucas Self says, quote, yeah, I wonder why people massively paid for Cyberpunk, Baldur's Gate 3, Witcher 3, Hollow Knight, Hades, Valheim, and many other DRM-free titles, making them top sellers, when they could just have downloaded them for free with no consequences instead. So weird, right? Could it be that people like to pay for products which do not come with strings attached? No way. I would also like to put this comment from Gabe Newell on screen. I think it's this is one of the most eternally relevant quotes of all time when it comes to PC gaming. If you make the product as easy as possible to pay for, people will pay for it. So you price it fairly, you don't have awkward strings attached, and you make sure it's something worth paying for. Some people are going to pirate your game, always. But also, little secret here, the habitual pirates who don't pay for games, who just steal all their games and never pay for any games, you're not going to get them to pay for your game because you put Denuvo in there. The logic here just doesn't make sense, and it's just such a blatant misunderstanding of the kinds of people you're allegedly trying to protect the developers from. How many people out there do you think are habitual pirates? They don't pay for games, all they do is pirate games, and then they come across a game with Denuvo in it. Do you think they're going to pay for that game, or do you think they're just gonna move on to a different game? 'Cause I think it's the latter. So you are quite literally just hindering the experience for the paying customer. Also, you can protect the product from someone who was never going to buy it in the first place. Zoid13 says, you don't own anything digital, no matter what it is or where it is, regardless of what any tick box you accepted or terms you agree to when making a purchase. They can and have been charged on a whim, leaving the user with no choice to either accept the new terms or if you don't think, whatever. Yeah, okay, look, I know I don't own it. Everyone on Steam knows they don't own it. Why is that justification for making it worse? I'm aware that I don't own the digital game. Why is that justification for making the experience in the digital game worse? I'm aware that I don't own this product. Why is that justification for making the product worse if I'm still paying for it? Feast says people are looking to profit, are buying the game for them, selling them shared accounts. Suddenly a massive group that never bought anyway is moving units because it's the only way to lift the pirate games with Denuvo. Oh, only way left 2 pirate games with Denuvo. I'm sorry, if you really think people are buying a game and then selling shared accounts on Steam for one game or like a handful of games, and that's the new thing the pirates are like, I'm sorry, that just cannot be that many people. There cannot be that much of a dent being made in sales off the network of sold shared accounts. Like that just cannot be as much of a thing as you're trying to make it sound like it is. Like, if your justification for Denuvo being implemented in all these games and like trying to publicly shame anyone who criticizes Denuvo or doesn't want Denuvo in their games, if your justification for that is, yeah, well, some people buy the game and then sell a shared account, and some people go out of their way to buy shared accounts instead of just buying games on sale or playing different games. Like, dude, like, it cannot be that deep. It just cannot be that deep. Neil Adu says, it's interesting that you have a problem with Denuvo, yet your Steam library contains games with Denuvo. It's weird that you're complaining about gas prices even though you own a car. Got him. It's weird how you're complaining about the cost of living even though you're alive. I'm smart. Have you ever considered that maybe some people will criticize a thing after they're made aware that it's there? Like, oh, why is this game running like shit? Oh, I was excited to buy this game. I buy this game. Why is it running like shit? Denuvo? What's that? Oh, that's what Denuvo is? Oh, I don't like that. I'm going to criticize this thing that was in the game and I didn't know was in the game when I purchased it because I'm an average consumer. Why do you think I put so much emphasis on these things in my videos? Because the average consumer won't know about them. That's why I get mad at game journalists. That's why I get mad at fanboys, because the average consumer won't know about these things, and then the average consumer will make a purchasing decision that they wouldn't have otherwise made if they did know about things, and then the corporations who make these decisions will look at the money they make from the average consumer and continue to deceive them. That's like that's like 80% of the reason that my channel even exists, is to point out the things that are taking advantage of the average consumer. Ooh, it drives me bananas. Dagtag says, there's really no need to keep doing topics like these. You don't like Denuvo? Okay, don't buy it and move on. There's no need to announce that you aren't going to be buying it. It won't change anything. Today I learned that voicing your criticisms and voting with your dollar doesn't change anything in the PC gaming market. Are you kidding me? Voicing your concerns and voting with your dollar doesn't make change in the PC gaming sphere. This is the same community that bullied PSN accounts out of Sony games like less than a year ago. Are you kidding me? In the gaming industry, the PC gaming sphere is one of the only subsects that actually can successfully vote with their dollar and voice concerns and have change come from that. Because the PC gaming sphere is not corporately owned like the console gaming sphere is and the AAA gaming sphere is. I hate this idea that like, ugh, if you don't like it, just don't say anything. Don't buy it, don't say anything. No, don't buy it and let them know why. If it's something that you would have bought otherwise, if they hadn't chosen to do this other thing, let them know. Don't just not buy it quietly. Don't buy it and tell them that you would have bought it if they didn't do this dumb thing. Oh my god, it's like such a foreign concept to you people, that you have power as a consumer. It's like you don't even want power as a consumer. It's so bizarre. P says, boo-hoo, no one cares but crazy people. Don't want it, don't get. But no one needs to know why you didn't get it. Denuvo isn't going anywhere until the devs remove, if ever, after sales have died off. Enjoy your wait. Good news is by the time they remove it, if ever, the game will be $5.99. Okay, a few things here. First of all, you're correct that a lot of people aren't going to buy these games until they're drastically on sale, because by the time they're drastically on sale, Denuvo's been removed. I was in this boat recently with Jedi Survivor. I loved Jedi Fallen Order. I really wanted to play Jedi Survivor, but then Jedi Survivor ran like complete ass and also had Denuvo. And then once they patched it, and removed Denuvo, it was on a butt fucking sale and ran way better. I am what you would call a perfect example. I would have bought Jedi Survivor earlier in its life cycle for more money if Denuvo wasn't there. And if the game didn't run like ass, but you get my point. I would have bought the game earlier for much more money than I actually did, but I didn't want to support a game with Denuvo in it. So let's go back to this comment. Denuvo isn't going anywhere until the sales have died off, and then it'll be $5.99. Well, if you're trying to make the developers money, if you're trying to make this point on behalf of the developers, you're not doing a great job, because you're really just telling me that I should wait until it's really cheap. Here I am, a consumer, a customer, willing to give you money for your product. But you put Denuvo in the game. I say, hey, if you don't have Denuvo in the game, I'll buy it right now. I would buy this game from you right now if it didn't have Denuvo in the game. And you say, no, you gotta wait like a year and a half, then I'll remove Denuvo, and I'll take your $6 instead of your $60. How is this a positive argument? I don't know how to make it clearer than that. There is a not insignificant number of people who are willing to give you much more money than a sale price for a game if it doesn't have Denuvo. And again, like I said earlier, Denuvo is not getting you extra sales. It is only removing sales, because the pirates who are stopped by Denuvo were not going to pay for your game in the first place. However, paying customers who were going to pay you in the first place are now not going to pay you in the first place because Denuvo's there. Do you see how that works? Eventually I will be a paying customer, but it won't be until the game is like 40, 50, 60% off, when I would have paid for it much earlier if Denuvo wasn't in the game. But you don't want to do that. Instead, you want to sacrifice my sale on behalf of stopping someone from pirating the game, even though that person pirating the game was not a lost sale in the first place, because they weren't going to pay you, because that's what a pirate is. Just none of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. There's a fucking plane going by my window. I recorded this video on October 17th. It's Friday morning. You want to see the Mariners score from last night? It's this. We had a 2-0 lead in the fucking ALCS, and now it's 2-2. But I really shouldn't be surprised. This is the same team that took the ALDS down to Game 5 in a fucking 15-inning game. So of course they weren't going to of course they weren't going to just walk through the championship series. Of course they weren't going to make this easy on me. The Dodgers are fucking 3-0 right now. Meanwhile, the Mariners are shitting themselves after having an early game lead and completely blowing it 2 nights in a row at home. This tweet right here perfectly sums up what it's like to be at all invested in Mariners baseball. It's never fucking easy with this team. They cannot make it fucking easy on me. They cannot make it fucking easy on me. Okay, Doofus Club time. Oh, by the way, discord.gg/doofus. If you want to join my Discord, it's discord.gg/doofus. We do stupid things in there. Okay. Record the Doofus Club now. Get this video up now, and then in a few hours, the Mariners game starts. I'm going to kill myself. Grimsy, Sergeant Justin Bond, Bear, Unicorn Raku, it's a hard nug life. Help, Moat, I'm stuck in the Joe. One Man Savage, Triple Up in a Bowler, Hot Biscuit 101, The Return of the King, No Payoff, Solo Route, Max Kill, VG Gaming, Visual Dregs, That Puppeteer, Nate, Elite, Maxler of the Wart Vector, Vincent Audrey Mechanical Resonance, Sick Nick, Mad Fox 94, X-Ray Induction, Bear Brain, Stick Rider, Broken Crayon, Pro Rapper, The Red King, No Motorcycle Yet, Just Got My First Card, Devastator 2000s, Jake, Spider Monkey 1994, Band, JTech TV, Schmo from Channels, The Schmitz, Chris Void, Vast Dennis, Dirty Mike and the Boys, Gaming with Dead People, Muskie, Big Fudge, Refuse to Lose, Seize the Moment, Go Mariners, Refuse to Lose. We did it twice. We did it twice at home after blowing a lead. Club the Penguin, The JoJo 6, Moltheme, Really Third, Oracle, Blast 1314, Jimmy Chops, Step Joe, I dropped the soap, whoops, Winky, Master Killer, Firetron 2026, Dom, Strollex, and Unknown 8718, the letter H, then the word Trump on a list, they're putting me all over, Ed Shadow Bear 7089, Kushku, Better Von News, is a boatmobile, it's your mom, T-Train, Rising Girl, Non Vola, High, Partial Main 8, Vox Auto, Card Man 4372, WX, The Gamer 127YT, Overauto 1, Snake Eyes 327, Game Award 72, MK2396E, Handlights, Market Gamma, Firehazard 105, Tech Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jam, Lord Bowser II, Joe Laughs does the Moat, Get Logo Little Dollars and Piece of Gaming, Tricks Shepherd, Ricky Spower, Ricky Abby, Atomic Dog, Green the Steel Angel, Microsoft is run by Ants and Twig Boys, Baron Von Barterholm, Sire 6771, True Text 940, I saw the BO7 spelling mistake, Lamal, Cream Warrior 23, Max and Chips, in the chat, Totally Insanity, Sego Warrior, Black, Cobra Praise, Beat a Space King, Night of Cyber, Emma Horror, and 6 copies of Clip, Classic on Blu-ray, Wolf of My Pig, Venus, Seaworth Studios, Film Cracker, Own Gaming Treat, Brown, Thorns Game, Mac and Deck, 7, MS, Personial 3, Calendar for Ryan, Pow, Donnie Weston, Nick, Gods and Rogue Windsor 19, Zach Thank, Kitty Kitten, Fimming, Hangman for Hire, Ellen, Wolf, Frost Crystal, By Justice, Floppy Higgins 97, Manga Key, Scuffy Skull, Ghost, Ryusagi, Raptor Tim, Honest 94, Blue Hook, The Wendy Wankin, Mr. Techno Squeak, Jody Peters, Smitty Wiggy, Man Jensen, McAver, Sergeant, Diego Christina, Kipikins, I'm Reckon, Eddie Harper, Seth of the Chin. Oh no, it's Justin, Rainbow, 20 Wanks, The Wolf 7, Smelly Wrestling Geek, Test My Tickles, ASMR. Wanna Be Hobo, Judge Westa, Bill 3 Dead Char, Rob C, Veg, Goof Banana, Code Nallens Back, Salhoff, and Mariner. I hardly know her. I fucking hate that. Are you kidding me? Mariner, I hardly know her? Are you serious? Oh, I'm furious at that one. Why does that one make me so mad? Oh my god. You made me so mad. I spelled doofus wrong. What the I was saving the file. I wrote diffuse. Diffuse.move. It's French. Diffuse.move. Go fuck yourself. God damn it, Toodles.